What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm Abe, and this is EVE Online, and we're going to be talking about fittings in this video, and specifically kind of the nuances of what, I don't know, what you have to consider and what goes into various fittings and what these different, I guess, sections of the ship are generally geared towards. So what you see in front of you is just a Raven ship fitting that I was toying around with when I thought I should, make this video. So let me preface this by saying I am not an expert by any stretch of the imagination, and yeah. So it looks like I can't use that. Well, that's unfortunate. Micro jump drive operation is disabled. Oh well, that would be a good fit. Anyway, yeah, so there are, on any given ship fitting, there are low slots, medium slots, high slots, and rigs. Now, some ships won't have rigs, but most ships will. Sometimes there will only be 2 slots for rigs, and sometimes there are 3, and sometimes there are none. So let's just walk through it step by step and just kind of go over the basics, at least in this video, the basics of kind of what you do with each of these slots, right? So the Raven, which I have open in front of me, is a Caldari battleship, and Caldari are generally known for being shield tanked. And how would you know that if I hadn't told you that? Well, one giveaway is mid-slots. So generally your shield tanking will happen in your mids. Your navigation modules like your afterburner and your warp drive, things that will make you go faster, also in your mids. As you can see, there are some e-warfare devices like target painters. You'll find your webifiers, things that make other people go slow. You'll find warp scramblers and disruptors, and that prevents people from entering warp or using warp drives, depending on which of those components you're using. And if you don't know, target painters basically make a target easier to make your enemy easier to target, or this one, if you see I'm hovering over it, a better way to explain it perhaps is that it increases their signature radius. So the larger a ship's signature radius, the faster you'll be able to target, and the easier it will be to hit. So using things like this will, if you're a big ship, it'll allow you to hit smaller ships more easily, and yeah, or allow your friends to hit them more easily. So there are some targeting options that also go in mid slots, like this compact sensor booster, which increases your own scan resolution, which makes it a faster targeting. It increases your maximum targeting distance, and it increases overall your targeting strength, which makes it more difficult for you to get jammed and target jamming. So this is kind of what mid slots tell you. So if you have a bunch of them, and as you can see here, we do have a bunch, and 7 is quite a few. This is often where this will tell you that you are shield tanking. Now, if we were to jump away, let's save this just so that I can. Let's see. Raven PE Basic 2. Yeah, okay. I know it's not the most exciting naming convention, but that's just kind of how it is. All right, so if we look at an Amar, let's see here. That's a drone boat, and all right. Well, let's simulate the Abaddon. Now, you notice that we are in a different situation where we still have the 3 rig slots. We only have 4 mids, but now we have 6 or 7. Looks like 7 low slots. Low slots are where your armor tanking is going to happen. Now, the mids, they still give you a few, so you can still. I apologize for the sound. Windows decided to tell me that threat protection for my virus scanner. It's like you're safe. It's good. But anyway, low slots are where you're going to be doing your armor tanking. The mids, they still give you a few so that you can put in your afterburner, your navigation mods, or your e-warfare items. I'm not suggesting that you put a webifier on a battleship. That's probably a very niche case situation where you might want to do that. But like I said at the beginning, I am not an expert at this, so maybe that is something you want to do. Either way, low slots, if there are a bunch of low slots, it'll tell you that you should probably be focusing on armor tanking. If there are a bunch of mid slots, it should tell you probably that you should be focusing on shields. And the stats over here may give you some indication as well. So right now we've got 10,200 armor. And if we look back at this Raven, we have significantly lower amount of armor here, right? If we go back to the Abaddon, looks like a, oh, sorry, there we go. Same amount of shields, but you notice that the shield resistance is, oh, well, that one's a tweaked out ship, but there you go. So not only are the armor resistances lower on this Caldari ship, they go up a little bit here, and that's just based on skill levels. So these are some of the really sort of just rough basics when you're looking at a ship of what even just the number of slots tells you about what the ship should do, right? And up here you can see, now all of this is in the ship information, so if we wanted to, you know, to take a look at the Abaddon, if we looked in here, it would tell us the drone capacity, it would tell us how many, where is it, fitting, there we go. It would tell us how many turret hard points it has versus how many launcher hard points. You know, so this one has 6 launcher hard points and 4 turret hard points. So they don't want you to use, like, they're just giving you indicators on how they expect you to use this ship, right? So this one with 8 high slots and 8 turret hard points, they would give you the ability to load in this much firepower in your high slots, right? And so that's probably what you want to do. There are some exceptions to that rule, of course, but this is sort of the basics of just looking at a naked ship and figuring out what it tells you about kind of how you should maybe go about fitting it. So how many low slots does it have? How many mid slots? That'll give you some indication on shield tanking or armor tanking. And to use something a little bit less I don't know, less obvious. Okay, the Megathron looks like they still want you to do some armor tanking. We clip through to the Hyperion. Now suddenly you've got 5 and 7, and that's probably still armor. And then this one is 5 and 7. So, okay, let's look at Minmatar. See how you can just sort of see we picked up another mid slot. We lost a couple lows, so that's probably a shield tanked ship. You know, it's about on par, so you could probably do either way with that one. And the Typhoon, which looks like more of an armor tank ship. So if you're just looking and you want to completely try to like guess based on what is here, that's how you can do it. Another way to go about it is obviously to look and to see if you get any bonuses. You know, so this gives you a bonus to shield booster, so they really are expecting you to shield tank it. So anyway, so that right at the very beginning, you can learn a lot about kind of how you might want to set up a fit for a ship, just based on how many slots there are in the mids and the lows. The highs tell you more about what weaponry to use, but we can get into that in the next video. So just from a very basic standpoint, this is kind of where you're at. We'll have a video specifically about rigs moving forward, but just remember, shield tanking, a lot of E-War stuff, your exploration is going to happen in your mids, your webifiers, your warp scramblers, your target painters, and all of that are mid slots. Lows are armor tanking, and I'll do another video just specifically on other things that you can do with the low slot, and I'll try to focus on each one and go from there. So overall, this is what you're looking for: turret hard points, missile hard points, number of mids and lows, and just kind of see what rigs you have to use. So that's it for now. Hit me up with your questions if you have them, and I'm sure you do, and we'll move into the next video where we learn about, we'll just pick the lows and we'll go on from there. Thanks a lot.